borders in a conflict that is located not in Western countries. It is located in the Middle East. Iran feels that countries who are not in this immediate area should withdraw and perhaps leave this out of their realm of jurisdiction, as this is our conflict, not yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Yuran. All those wishing to speak, please use your placards now. Lebanon.
In regards to what has been said by Antigua and Barbuda, it would be very easy to determine a demilitarized zone within the Golan Heights or outside of the Golan Heights between Syria and Israel for the safety of both nations. At this moment, we are talking about trade agreements between the two countries and hopefully further on peace talks. Thank you.
Thank you, Lebanon. All those wishing to speak, please use your placards now. Australia.
Thank you, Ahmadize. Austria would like to add to the discussion with the point that currently the land of Syria is not stable, and talking about returning Golan Heights to Syria at this moment in time seems very unlikely due to the fact that it is overrun by rebels, and it just seems very unlikely at this moment. Thank you.
Right, thank you, Australia. All those wishing to speak, please use your placards now. Iraq.
In reply to Antigua and Barbuda, they changed their minds. And as well as we had suggested before, we can very well, Syria can very well rent the area out to Israel for their national defense. So that also solved the problem that Australia has brought up in saying that Syria, as well as Iraq, were not very stable right now, and therefore Syria can very well rent the area to Israel for their defense needs if needed.
Right, thank you. Okay, all those wishing to speak, please use, last speaker. All those wishing to speak, please use your placards now. Canada.
Thank you. Well, we understand Antigua and Barbuda's concern for the possible issue that may arise if Syria was to gain access to Golan Heights yet again. But the delegation of Canada would like to bring up the point that we must understand the legality aspect of the Golan Heights conflict. As of right now, the Golan Heights area belongs to Syria, and as we believe the delegation of Iraq has been talking about possible solution of trade with water and the military advantages. And we see that if there was a water trade, it would help both aspects and possibly improve Syrians' economy.
Okay, thank you, Canada. This moderating caucus has now expired. Okay, are there any points of motion on the floor? Syria.
Sir, I would like to motion for 10-minute moderated caucus 1 minute speak time on the issue of water usage and possible agreements on the access to safety.
Okay, yeah, that is in order. Are there any other points of motions? Netherlands.
Netherlands would like to motion for a 10-1 moderated caucus on compromise between Israel and Syria.
Alright, are there any other points of motions? Okay, seeing none, we will vote on Syria's motion for a 10-1 moderated caucus on the topic of water usage in the Golan Heights. All those in favor of this motion, please use your placards now. Okay, this motion passes. Syria, you have the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Daz. Now, once again, the idea of a trade agreement for water supplies has been brought up. Now, the delegate would like the fellow delegates to understand that water is one of the things that UN has guaranteed for, and is a thing that is a human right, access to water, and for the people of Syria to have to buy the water is essentially denying them their human right. And it is for this reason that Syria must be given access to the Sea of Galilee. It is one of the only sources of water within the region, and the Golan Heights, which is landlocked, cannot get these water resources unless they have some kind of access to the Sea of Galilee. This is why Syria is fighting for the access to the Sea of Galilee. Now, the delegate understands that there are some issues in terms of security, but the delegate believes that these are not major issues and that these can be worked out in another agreement. So for the time being, the delegate would like to, the fellow delegates to consider access to the Sea of Galilee. Thank you.
Thank you, Syria. All those wishing to speak, please use your pockets now. A and B.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Now, Syria brings up a very good point in the fact that we cannot monetize water for the Syrians, because simply that is not something we should be doing. It is breaking the Syrians' human rights. One other thing we have to consider is that Syria right now is embroiled in civil war. Where will the water go if they do buy it? Will it just all go to the government? Because what about the people who support the rebels? And in fact, we understand that there is a large majority of the Syrians who actually are rebel-backed and not government-backed. And therefore, where would this water be going? That's something we have to consider. Now, Antigua and Barbuda would like to propose that perhaps instead of simply giving access to the Sea of Galilee to Syria, perhaps we could invest in a joint development project between Syria and Israel. Now, what this would do would, in fact, it would allow Israel and Syria to cooperate, but not only would we have to, can we ignore land issues, we can just simply allow this project to finish.
Thank you, Delegate. Your time has elapsed. All those wishing to speak, please use your placards now. Netherlands.
Netherlands sees that there's two issues at hand. One about the water and a smaller one about national security. Now Netherlands has a compromise at hand. Maybe Israel can maintain a small sliver of land to ensure that Syria does not have a large military advantage, and they can also maintain some contact with the Sea of Galilee, so they can withdraw some water, but Syria will still have most of it.
Okay, thank you,